Hey guys, and welcome back to The Unknown Show. I'm Boston.
And I'm Bayside.
And we bring you indie music and all the drama every Mondays at 2.
Ooh.
Well, today's Tuesday, but
Most Mondays.
Most Mondays at 2. Except for the last 2. We'll get on track,
It's
guys.
fine.
Don't worry.
Everything's fine.
We'll start a even pattern eventually. It'll happen. Anyways, this is our 7th season.
Ooh.
Yep. And this is our first full-length show, so be sure to watch the whole thing. Be sure to check out all our other segments if you are watching on YouTube. We are The Unknown Show again, and we're gonna start talking about some Halsey and some Taylor Swift for you. But first, our last 4 songs were Patricia by Florence and the Machine, Lovers by Anna of the North, Plum by Troye Sivan, and Hawaiian Party by Cub Sport. So while we were on our little break and you guys were hearing some cool indie music, we listened to Halsey's new song. Neither of us had heard it, but it's been getting some kind of mixed reviews. Halsey's been trying to do a lot of promotion for it. But what was your first impression?
Well, I wouldn't say that I actually have this issue with a lot of music where the first time I listen to it, I don't love it. And then there's the potential for me to love it in the future.
Yeah, we've talked about this before with like the 1975.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely, it wasn't my favorite when we listened to it just now. I found it a bit repetitive. Boston mentioned it's a bit poppy for Halsey, which I'd agree with. But yeah, it was kind of repetitive, very angsty, but not in like the way that I like. It wasn't doing what I usually like Halsey's angsty music to do. But yeah, and what are your thoughts, Boston?
I hate to be like that person, but it was almost like too mainstream. You know what I mean? Like as an indie show, I feel like we're allowed to say that just because when something's not as unique as we're used to, it's a little weird. But I'm kind of used to Halsey having kind of like this evolved sound a little bit, like really working to make a song sound different, but still something people will listen to. And I kind of feel like she just kind of stripped this from every other song on the radio, like it felt very top 40s for me, which I guess is some artists' goals. But I know she was trying to make it emotional, and it's obviously about her split with G-Eazy, but I wasn't into it. I feel like she was almost trying too hard. I feel like that's the way to say it. Like she was trying too hard to make a song that would be played on air that people would try to connect to, but I love her old stuff too much to actually enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And then we were also saying over our break where you're listening to it that it's hard to hear the song, especially because her and G-Eazy are now back together and everyone knows why they broke up.
Yeah, the fact that it's just a toxic relationship, I feel.
Yeah, like now we all know it's toxic. No one tweets why you broke up and then gets back together and it'd be good,
Yeah, we were talking about how it was kind of like if you tell your mom or your dad or a close friend about something someone else does to you that's really awful, and then you make up with them or like you decide to like move on from it, that person is still going to despise the person who treated you badly.
Exactly. You're always gonna have this inkling of, but remember when they did that thing to
Yeah,
you?
remember when they were like the worst?
Exactly. And we don't have every detail of their relationship, but seeing that one was such a prominent one and such a public one.
Yeah, I mean they were very forthcoming with when they got together, traveling together, making music together. So it was very on stream that she would announce why they broke up. But because of that, I feel like a lot of fans or people who supported them originally are going to look at it and be like, well, A, it's not a good role model for the people you're kind of presenting yourself to, which might not be her goal. That's fine. Not everyone wants to be a role model, but it's also very impressionable for younger fans and things like that to re-enter a toxic relationship like that. I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not a fan.
I agree. And so I guess we'll just have to see where that goes from here because it's not looking too great.
Yeah.
But speaking of other celebrities that are very vocal all of a sudden on social media about events, Taylor Swift has spoken out for the first time about her political views.
Yeah, someone who's notoriously kind of stayed out of the spotlight with politics in general, kind of got a lot of criticism for not commenting on political views or speaking out against some of the social issues in our country because she is a citizen, because she does have a lot of people who look up to her. People were really disappointed that she didn't really comment on like the Me Too movement or things like that. But she just posted a really lengthy thing about voting, about who she's voting for in Tennessee. She got very personal, so it was a change of pace.
I agree. And would you say there has she received some flack for the whole like too little too late kind of argument, which I could see is fair, and I think people will always have regrets about something they could have done and didn't do, but I think that to speak out at any point is a good idea, like it's never too late to decide that you're going to take a stance on something that's important to you. And I think that she backed up her reasoning with a lot of facts. So it obviously comes from an educated standpoint. And the voter registrations in Tennessee went up like skyrocketed after her tweet, which is amazing. And it's a shame that perhaps she didn't speak sooner if she does have this kind of impression on her fans. But again, I think it's better late than never, because we can't. There will always be people that find something to criticize about, even when someone does try to finally take a stand.
Yeah, people like Taylor Swift are criticized if they do something, if they don't do something. There's no winning for her, I think. I mean, I appreciate that she kind of spoke out on her views because that's been something I've questioned just because when you have that kind of platform, if you're not using it, it's kind of a waste in my opinion, but that's not everyone's opinion. Honestly, she took her time, she made her own personal decision, more power to her. What I found interesting, you mentioned Tennessee's voter registration going up. It was also said that I believe it was something crazy like registration across the country went up by like 20% or something like that after she spoke up. I'm not sure of the exact percentage, but the fact that she has such an impact. But there was a bunch of like funny tweets about it too, and so it's interesting how one person can kind of change the discussion.
It is. It really is. Because sometimes it's the people you don't expect, a pop star, even someone as impressionable as Taylor Swift, to have people actively make that kind of decision to, okay, this is what's going to get me to be involved in, the current political climate. So it's impressive. But I guess to everyone out there, register to vote.
Yeah,
November 12th.
If you haven't yet, register. If you are an out-of-state student like me at Iona or just out of state, whatever college you're at, you can always register for an absentee ballot. You can go on vote.org or .com, one of the two,
Yes.
and register for your absentee ballot and just turn it into your town hall in your town or city of residence. You can register for an absentee ballot up to the day before your state votes in the midterm elections.
And by November 12th, that did mean November 6th. So,
so November 6th. But if you do live further away, such as I'm from Massachusetts, obviously from Boston, but I go to school in New York here at Iona, so I want to give my town enough time to ship me the ballot before the elections. So make sure you register a little bit in advance, just to make sure you get your absentee ballot on time, and then you can turn it in and kind of check in your vote there. Every vote counts. We have a right to vote in our country because of people fighting for it, because we are given this freedom that, I mean, it's hard fought. So I would say vote, again, on personal choice, but it's important. So
well put.
As I stumble over my words. So we're gonna get right back into the indie music, and when we're back, we'll talk about Halloween and maybe some Busy Phillips as well.